What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing great today. My name is Marcus Williams, founder of 25 Options, where our goal is to give you more options to help create generational wealth. In partnership with KnowledgeBank, our purpose is to educate and encourage personal investing through sound financial decisions and knowledge of the current market. As a native of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and a graduate of Tennessee State University, many of my experiences have highlighted the impact of economic freedom or lack thereof. After earning a degree in economics and finance and an MBA, financial literacy has been at the forefront, and sharing that information is vital for many communities. Money, which is a tool, is a driving force in opportunities, exposures, and outcomes. As we see the lack of education that has been focused on finances in various communities, we have made it a mission to educate, enlighten, and inspire our communities and beyond. The ultimate goal is to obtain wealth. This is important to understand because wealth leads to ownership, and ownership leads to power. Investing in the stock market, real estate, and owning a business are the main ways to gain financial freedom. Each way to invest is done by a system. Once a systematic approach is outlined, any commodity can be interchanged. This system is called the art of the flip. By taking something and getting more from it, a flip has then occurred. The more we flip, the more we accumulate, and the more wealth we will obtain. During the Art of the Flip course, students will visit how to make a flip in the stock market, real estate market, and with their own passions. Every business begins with a passion. The Art of the Flip system will show how to flip a passion into a profit. By the end of the course, students will have a complete understanding of what wealth is, why it is important, and how to obtain it in a way that highlights their strengths. Once students have this knowledge, they will have a tool they can implement for a lifetime, ultimately creating a system for generational wealth. So students, stay tuned, be engaged, as we will have some giveaways you can earn for the next 4 weeks. So remember to watch the videos, complete your tickets, and submit any questions you may have. Let's get it. Why we spend money is just as, if not more important than what we spend our money on. Whether to live, have transportation, eat, or even feel good, we all spend our dollars. To attack the mindset of wealth, we will focus on 2 different ways of spending. Let's start with the question. What was the last thing you spent your money on? All right, so let's get right to it. Today's session will be entitled Consumer versus Investor. Again, those are the 2 main ways as which we will identify how we spend our money. The materials you will need for the course today will include a writing utensil, a piece of paper, and your digital worksheets. Our objectives for the course today will be to identify consumer spending and the importance of it, understand investing and the opportunities that it may provide, define wealth and the impact it has on individuals and communities. So what was the last thing you spent your money on? Me, myself, it was gas to get to my destination. Oh man, see how quick I forgot that? I actually stopped to get a watch band. It's so simple to forget and lose track of where our dollars go from time to time. If I gave you $500 right now, how would you spend it? Take a second and think about that. How many of you all said saving your money? I know the majority of us do. Or spending on something that you've been thinking about or wanting, or something that you need at the moment. Well, that all goes to the fact that we're all consumers. A consumer is to spend your money for your own personal want or need. And as you can see, everybody has to be a consumer almost daily in order for us to live, eat, function. It's a necessary evil for us. As we take a look at consumer spending and why that's so important, we're going to break down Maslow Hierarchy, which identifies various ways of why we spend our dollars. So if we start with Maslow Hierarchy, the basic pillar of this foundation is basic needs. Things such as food, water, sleep, health, that's all a necessity that forces us to spend our money. My own personal money goes to my bills, me living, a place to stay, a place to sleep at, a car to drive to get to point A to point B. If we move up the ladder, we look at safety needs. What things do you spend your money on to keep you safe? For me, it's my health, my well-being. What about gym memberships? What about doctor's appointments, insurance? We spend our money every single day or month to keep our bodies, our minds, everything we need safe, our families, and everything included. The next pillar on this chart would be love and belonging. When was the last time you bought a gift for somebody or received a gift? How did you feel when you received that gift? We don't all automatically assume that we're giving money away or that we're doing things for love, but that is a systematic approach to consumer spending. Think about Valentine's Day. How many people spend money on Valentine's Day alone? We're giving our dollars to other companies, building their wealth while we're giving our money away. As we go with the chart one more notch, we look at self-esteem. Now, I don't know about you, but when I look good, I feel good. And when I feel good, I believe I do good. That's a prime example of spending your money for self-esteem. What about haircuts, fellas? Or getting your nails done, ladies? Each one of us does something to make us feel good. I know summer's about to open up. We're all buying that brand new fit to make us step out and feel how we want to feel. That's consumer spending at its finest. The last pillar on Maslow Hierarchy would be self-actualization. This breaks down to your passions and creativity. Have you ever thought about the chef that likes to cook, who buys knives and kitchen utensils? What about the artist who buys canvas and paintbrushes? Or the producer who buys cameras and lighting? We all spend our money for our own passions and creativity, but it's still consumer spending nonetheless. So now in your digital workbooks, I want you to take a moment, look at these pillars, and please fill out your basic needs, your safety needs. What was the last gift you bought or received from someone? What did you use for your self-esteem? And what money did you spend on your own passions? So now that we understand consumer spending and the importance that it plays in our lives, we know the necessary dollars that go out. Now let's look at the flip side and that second piece of spending. We call this investing. Investing is to spend your money with the expectation to make a profit. That alone is different than being a consumer. As a consumer, you spend something for your own want or need. With investing, I'm spending my money to double it up or flip it. Investing is important because it creates wealth. Wealth is calculated by what you own minus what you owe. This is important to understand because debt plays a major role in certain communities. Putting ourselves in a hole allows us to not obtain wealth as fast as other communities, therefore putting us in a lesser position to be successful. There's a thing called the wealth gap in America that we live in today. The wealth gap is highlighted from the 1% and the 99%. I know me personally, I'm in the 99%. I haven't reached that 1% yet, but you better believe I'm working on it. Who do you all think the 1% is? Take a second and think about that. Did you know that the 1% actually controls more wealth than the entire black population in the United States of America? That's according to Forbes. Or did you even know that African Americans spent $1.3 trillion in consumer dollars in 2018? That's a vast difference to understand that we have this wealth gap, but yet we still have $1.3 trillion in certain communities. According to the Wall Street Journal, it will take an average black family 228 years to equal the wealth of an average white family. And you might ask yourself, how is that number realistic? I ask myself the same question. How is that a real number? When we have 1.3 trillion in consumer spending, how are we so far behind the 8 ball? Well, how many of you all bought Jordans last time they came out? Did that make you feel good? Maybe that goes back to your self-esteem bucket. Or how many people are living where you downtown where you're paying higher rent than if you lived on the outskirts? Does that help your basic needs bucket? Again, the why we're spending our dollars impacts our overall economic situation. Let's take a look at an example of wealth. Investing is an option used to build wealth. Wealth is having an abundance of valuable items or money, known as net worth. Wealth is how much a person has in investments, savings, real estate, and cash, minus any debt. Let's take that calculation back again. What you own minus what you owe is how you calculate wealth. For example, Alex owns a house worth $500,000, a car worth $1,500, and stocks worth $250,000. However, he also owes $50,000 in student loans and $1,000 on a credit card. If Alex had to sell everything he owns to pay off what he owes, how much wealth would Alex have accumulated? Take a second, calculate that for me. Alex would have accumulated $700,500 in wealth if he sold everything he had to pay off what he owed. He would still have that money remaining. That's a good chunk of change to have in your pocket when you're debt free. But that's the power that wealth can provide. When we go back and we look at investing and we look at the difference in wealth gap, even at the top of the food chain, the wealth gap is very different. You have Jeff Bezos, who's the richest man in America, or the world, we should say, at $116 billion. I think that number actually increased during this time to maybe $150 billion. On the flip side of that, you have Robert Smith, the wealthiest black man in America, at $5 billion. So my question to you would be, how long do you think it would take Robert Smith to accumulate the same wealth as Jeff Bezos? Even at the top of the food chain, it's still a difference in a wealth gap. That allows us to be put in a position to where success is limited for certain communities and given more to others. So as we conclude today, we understand there's two ways that we spend our money. One as a consumer, the other as an investor. What did you learn today? How will you apply this moving forward in the days to come? As we look at our exit ticket, we have 3 questions that you will need to answer to stay engaged and to look forward to those giveaways that we have upcoming for you. Our first question would be, how is an investor different than a consumer? How is wealth calculated? And finally, what opportunities are available to those who have accumulated wealth? Thank you guys so much, and I hope you all enjoyed the lesson for today. We look forward to seeing you right back here, same time, same day next week, as we introduce the Art of the Flip process. Please follow me at 25 Options on IG, 25 Options on Facebook, and 25options@gmail.com for any direct questions you may have for me. Thank you all so much, and we'll keep this thing going.